Hello, hello. Happy Thursday, everybody. I didn't think I was running around crazy and then looked at the clock and realized, oh my goodness, I have to get started here. I just, I got so involved this afternoon. So tonight we are going to be playing with the stamp set Speedy Recovery. It's a really cute stamp set, and I haven't, first time I'm using it. So it's a cute little set to send a message to a friend who needs some healing or some kind words. Hello, hello. Must be Karen. How are you? So before we get started, just a few little things. Um, in November, there's going to be this new suite that's going to be released early before the new catalog comes out, and it is called Frame Florets. So you get 2 stamp sets and these beautiful oval dies, which I'm really excited about. I love the ovals, and if you'll notice, I use them every so often. Hey, Do. Hey, Karen. Hi, Fran. I use them every so often, even though they're retired, because I just love them. And then also for this month of October, um, Stamping Up is now giving $155 worth of product for $99 instead of the $125. So you get a chance to order $155 worth of product. I'd love to have you on my team. You could be a hobbyist or a business builder. You don't have to do what I do, but you could save 20%. Hi, Linda, on all your future orders with Stamping Up. Okay, so I'm behind, just to let you know. I was doing really well, and my sister, for the last, well, I had a Doberman. You saw her with her wheelchair. Um, and she was the sweetest dog I've ever owned. And after Reba had to be put to sleep because of her legs, I had said to my sister, if you ever find another Doberman, please let me know. And because I'd like to get another one. Well, she ended up calling me tonight. She found a Doberman in Florida, and she's going to pick her up. She's a little puppy. I think she's 8 months old. And she's going to pick her up tomorrow. So now I have to plan a trip to Florida to go pick the dog up. How crazy is that? I don't know. So that was what was going on before I got online. I walked in here, my computer had died. I forgot to plug it in. So yes, Reba was an exceptional dog. And Bill actually wants me to have a dog, for God forbid anything should happen. He doesn't want me to be by myself. He wants me to have someone to protect me. So that's what we're gonna do. I'll post a picture of the puppy tomorrow. Because I did get a picture of her to my sister wanted to show me. So all right, so enough about that excitement. Here's the first card. I used the tailor-made tags, and I just cut it in half and stretched it. I probably will pull it in a little bit closer. I don't really like how long it is. And I'm using, I don't even remember what the name of this cardstock is. See, I told you. The Tea Boutique Designer Series paper. And then for the coffee cup or teacup, You'll notice I embossed it in clear to give it a little shine. Oh, Adobe Sheltie mix. How cute. Hey, Margaret, I am doing okay. Just worn out. And then I did the spoon in silver, and I didn't even do a second one, so you're going to have to watch me cut it out. And then I cut off the hearts and then stamped the hearts in red. And then I just added the DSP on the inside. For the second card, I did some paper piecing for the box so it matches the designer series paper. Added a little bit of florals. This is the Stitched with Whimsy. I cut out the square and just embossed it with the die. And then I used the other stamp from the set on the inside. And then, of course, I needed to make a tissue box. Quick and easy little tissue box to match the cards. So let's get started. Let's do this one first. I didn't even, like I said, I did not even, and what did I do with, that's for that card. Let me just quick score this. It's crazy how I thought I was so prepared, looked at the time, and I was so far behind. All right, so we're starting with basic white, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. That's our basic card base. And then I am going to adhere some fresh freesia. And let's take a look at what this is. 5 1/4 by 4. So we can see the white card base. Aw, thanks. It actually is holding one of those purse size tissues. All right, so we're just going to adhere this down to the front of the card. Excuse me. And then I have some Highland Heather and the DSP. And the Highland Heather is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. And the DSP is 3 3/4 by 5. So what I'm going to do is just adhere these two together. I'm just going to glue it because it'll make it much quicker. Just get that on there. Grab some dimensionals. And we're going to just pop this up just to give it a little bit of dimension. So I hope everybody's doing good. Karen, I said I would update you. The DSP is, what did I say? Tea Boutique. It's from the teacup set. It comes 6 by 6. It's not 12 by 12 sheets. And there's a variety, lots of bold colors and envelopes. This would be perfect with that other stamp set that I used, I think, for my Simple Saturday. It would have been perfect. And reds. And then the opposite side are just different colors. But it's called the Tea Boutique. And I had the backing piece. I don't know where it went. All right. So I stuck it down on my card. get these back on here. So like I said, it was a crazy day today. I did get my stove. Well, I didn't get it. I went and purchased it. And they cannot deliver it until October 27th. So, thank goodness for my air fryer, because that's crazy. Wait 3 weeks. All right, so now I have my little fresh freezer squares, and these are 2 1/8 by 2 1/8, and I cut 2. Let's get this out of the way so you can see it better. So I cut 2. Then I cut a piece of DSP 2 by 2, and then I cut some basic white 2 by 2, and I embossed it with the Stitch Sew Whimsy. I think that's what it's called. Let me just check quick. Stitched with Whimsy, guys. Okay, so we'll grab a piece of scrap paper. For this one, we're just going to adhere the DSP. They aren't really sure what happened with his heart enzymes. They were extremely high. They do not know the reason. They would have done a catheterization, but they were afraid he was going to bleed to death. So they did not do that. And what they're planning on doing now is pulling all his records and tests that they did while he was in the hospital, and they are going to go over everything to see what could possibly have happened. We're not really too sure. He's not really feeling good. He gets a lot of pressure in his chest, loses his breath really easy lately. Just walking from the kitchen to the living room, he gets winded. So we're not really too sure what's happening. And neither are they, actually. So they did suggest he see a neurologist for the vertigo. So I guess we'll be calling the Veterans Administration to get a new appointment with a new doctor. So we'll see. Just don't know what to do. All right. So for the basic white layer, what I did was, and I think I did. Nope, I did Highland Heather. I'm going to grab my Highland Heather, and I don't have one of the little daubers or a sponge. So I'm going to use just this sponge that I have. And I'm going to grab the bottle with the leaves in it from the stamp set. And I'm just going to, I got it on my finger. I am just going to dab this in the stamp pad and put it on the stamp, because I don't really want the leaves in purple. Okay, so I'm going to stamp, ink up the stamp just by patting it just a little bit. And then I'm going to grab a Stampin' Write marker. Now, this is a Call Me Clover, and we don't have it anymore, but it's very close to Garden Green. And I'm just going to color up the leaves on this stamp. Now, once it's all colored, you can actually just huff on it a little bit, like blow on it with hot air, just to wet it so it stays a little moist. And then we're just going to stamp this right here in the corner, just like that. So you can see that it's not really dark by using the pad to stamp, to color the stamp. Then I'm going to grab some gorgeous grape. And I think I have this on this block. Oh, I did put the words on. So, and I think I did it pretty well. And we are going to, I'm going to try not to rock the stamp. We're just going to stamp this right over top of those leaves. And I did pretty good. On the card I made today, you'll notice that I did rock it just a little bit. Okay, so now that we have that stamped, we're just going to add some glue, and I'm just going to add it to the center. I don't really want the glue in those holes because it may seep through. And we're just going to glue that right to that little piece. Now we can, hey Cheryl, how are you? Now we're going to pull in our card base, and we're going to add these two to the front of the card. So we're going to put this one right about here, and I'm going to glue it down. So I'm going to add some glue. We're just going to stick it right here in this corner. Make sure it's on there straight. I'm actually going to move it over just a little bit. And then we're going to glue this one on, and we're going to overlap it just a little bit. Just want to fill in some space on the front of the card. Okay? Very quick and easy. Oh, wow, Casey. What a great thing. That's so nice, Karen. All right. So now for the tissue box. What I did, let me grab a scrap piece of paper here. I used some basic white, and you'll notice that the tissue box, the tissue is outlined. The box itself is completely covered. So what I did, I wanted the tissue to be outlined in the fresh freesia. So I inked up and stamped. And of course, I had to fussy cut it out, and it's right here. So I just fussy cut it out completely. Then, and I don't have, do I have an extra piece? Let's see. Doesn't look like I have an extra piece of, oh yeah, right here. Silly. Then I took the DSP and I grabbed some Highland Heather and I stamped it in Highland Heather. So it would be a little darker than the fresh freesia. And let's see. Here it is. Then I actually fussy cut this one, and I fussy cut the tissue out completely. So we're just going to grab our tissue box, and we're going to add some glue. And like I said, the only reason I stamped it first was because I wanted the outline to be in fresh freesia for the tissue. And then we're just going to take this designer series paper and fit it right onto the stamped image. Okay, so there is our tissue box. I then proceeded to grab, and let me just get this dies, because I'm not, I think it was, yes. I grabbed some dies from Forever Fern, and I did some leaves in this soft seafoam, and then I did some smaller ones in garden green. And we're going to just pull in our card. We're going to pop up this tissue box, and I'm going to add my dimensionals right to the center so I can stick things under without it interfering. And we're just going to center it in this square. So let's make sure it's on there straight. Yep. And then we're just going to fill it in with some greenery. I'm just going to glue this right in the center. And just while I'm thinking about it, I won't be having, hey Florence, hey Kathy. Thank you, thank you. I will not have a Saturday video, Simple Saturday, because Liara, Emma's daughter's birthday was this week. And Saturday is her birthday party. So we're headed back to Manhattan. So hopefully it'll be a good trip and we don't get lost. All right, so I'm grabbing my Fresh Freesia Stampin' Right marker, and I am just going to quick color this flower in. I'm not really going to do anything fancy other than, and I'll show you in a second. Let me just get this one. I am going to adhere one on top of the other, but I just wanted to make sure that you couldn't see a white flower underneath. So that's why I'm just going to color them all, color both flowers. So there's the Fresh Freesia. Then I am just going to grab my light Highland Heather, and this space in between these two lines, I'm just going to color those in. And I'll do it on both of them. I'm just adding some color. Then I'm going to grab, and I think I'm going to use the clover again. And I also grabbed some Granny Apple Green. It's too dark over here, so I'm just going to put some Granny Apple Green down the center. And then grab the other marker that looks like garden green and color this in. Now these don't blend, so you just have to add color. These are like more writing markers. I do color with them though. I actually, in our last coloring class, and I don't even know what I did with my images. We did the dragon and the mermaid, and I'm just going over that but it's Granny Apple again, just to give it a little bit of different color. Yeah, come to think of it, I'm not sure what I did with them. All right, so now that the flowers are done, can you tell that I'm like spacey today? It has been crazy. I don't know where the day went. And I'm just going to put one right on top of the other, just like that. Then I'm going to grab the 2022-24 in color gems, and I'm going to use, I guess this is the Parakeet Party. And we're going to just add that right to the center of the flower. And I think I popped it up. I did. So let's grab some dimensionals. And we're going to just put it right here in the center of these leaves at an angle. And then we're going to just add a few of these little sprigs underneath. I keep looking at the too much. Yeah, I know. It has. It's been crazy. I ran out today. Like I said, I had to get the stove. And of course, because I had got the black stove, then I had to purchase a black hood, because I can't have an old white hood with a brand new black stove. So I had to get the hood. Then I came home and I was like, oh, I'm going to have to pull my backsplash because I got a chance to clean behind the old stove. So now I'm going to replace, and I only have till the 20th. I want to replace the backsplash in my kitchen. So I have to do that before they come and deliver. So it's going to be a crazy couple weeks. All right, so for embellishments, I'm grabbing the adhesive back sequins in gems. These are really pretty. And the fresh freesia sequins are perfect. So I'm just going to add, and I'm off the camera, just going to add one here, one over here, and then for the third one, I'm just going to pick this up if I can. I want to just sit this. Oh, nope, I got glue all the way to the end, so we'll just put it right at the end there. So I guess too, so now, like I said, I made more work for myself because of the stove, which is fine. And then the dog came up today. So now I have to get ready for a new puppy. We're going to Manhattan. And then I have to plan a trip to Florida. So I'm using the glittered organdy ribbon in white. And that is going to be quite interesting. But it'll be exciting because I have not seen my sister in, let's see, the last time I saw her was in 2013, I believe. So that's a long time ago. So that'll be exciting. I get to see her. All right, so we have our bow. Let's just clip our tail. And we're going to grab a glue dot. And we're going to add it right here in this corner. Oops. Stuck to me. And add our ribbon. And then there is the front of our card. Really quick and easy. Thanks, Margaret. Yeah, she should come to me, but let me tell you something about my sister. She can't come to me because she has a menagerie of animals. The last I checked, she has 27 dogs. So there is no way on God's green earth that she can make a trip here because of all her dogs. That is a lot of stinking dogs. All right, what did I do here? So that is out of the question. Plus, she has a menagerie of other animals too. It's not just her dogs. She's got reptiles and birds. You name it, she has it. She has a little pig. She does really have quite a number of animals. I don't know how she takes care of them all, but she's always been like that. And like I said, there would be no way that she could leave home. All right, so now for the inside of the card that you just heard me cutting, I have fresh freesia, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. Yes, she lives in Cottondale, Florida. Yeah, we're from Long Island, and she moved to Florida. And then we have the 5 1/4 by 4 in the basic white. So we're going to just grab, let's see what I did with it. Oh, it's right here. We're going to grab the bouquet of flowers, and I'm going to grab my fresh freesia, and we're just going to ink it up and stamp it right there in that corner, which I messed up. So let's try it again. You see, I rock my stamps all the time. That's better. All right, so now what I did was I grabbed some markers, Poppy Parade, and we're just going to quick fill in the heart. And fresh freesia, we're going to actually color all the flowers. And again, I'm just doing it with a lick and a promise. And I'm doing all the flowers exactly the same. It's funny, I can't talk anything about how many animals she has, because when we had our farm, we had many horses, we had I think we had 6 dogs, we had 52 goats, we had peacocks. We had a menagerie ourselves. And then we had to get rid of it when Bill got sick. All right, so all the little flowers are done. And then I just grabbed some Daffodil Delight, And I'm just going to fill in the centers. And then I am going to grab the granny apple again. And we're going to just fill in these leaves really quick. Not being fussy at all. And then I grab some polished pink, and we're going to just grab these little ones in the corner with some polished pink. Grab some seal. And just add it to the cardstock. And then we can add it to the center of our card. There we go, quick and easy. So there's card number 1. I'd like to know how I did 5 cards the other night in an hour and a half, and it took me a half hour to do one. All right, so there's card number 1. Card number 2 is a little bit more involved. This is what we colored during our coloring class this month. We're going to do our cards with those this month. So we're going to start with our basic white again. This time it's 11 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5 1/2. So we'll just put that aside for a second. Then I have a Highland Heather, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And I think this is, nope, I did 5 by 3 3/4. So we have a nice big area around the designer series paper. So we're just going to adhere this to the front of the card. I figured I'd do my layers the same all the time, so we do it a little different. All right, and then I did my tag in Fresh Freesia. This is from the Tailor Made Tags, and I'm just going to cut it in half because I want to be able to stretch it. And a scallop layering circle in Highland Heather. Now that is, I like that size better. So we're just going to adhere this to the front of the card. Just want to make sure it's straight. And add this one, and we want to just make sure that the edges are pretty straight, so it just looks like an extra long tag. I know it looks terrible, but we're going to hide it. And then we're going to take our layering circle, and we're going to add our dimensionals. And we're just going to put this a little closer to the top, but not much. Okay. And then I have a layering circle. And this is the 2 5/8 circle. So the way I did this, I'm going to grab my Stamparatus, and I hope I can get this in here straight. All right, so it's stamped. That's good. We'll put it right about there. Just gonna put this at the top so it doesn't move, because I need to stamp it twice. These magnets are so strong. Let's just see if I can. Nope, that's not right. See, what I should have done was just stamped it and then die cut it, but I wanted to show you just how I did it. Okay, that's good. So let's just put this magnet down here at the bottom. And what I did first is I took my fresh freesia and we're going to ink up this stamp really well. And I did take the pad out of my Stamparatus because it's foam backed, our stamp, and we don't need it. So we're just going to ink it up and stamp. It looks like I missed that corner. And I might have done it in Highland Heather. That's all right. We'll do it in Fresh Freesia. And we're going to just do it again. That's the best part about having a Stamparatus. Okay, so it's perfect now. Now while it is drying, I'm just going to pat it with the embossing buddy. I'm going to grab my Versamark and we're going to ink it up with the Versamark. I think it's about time I open my new one. And we're going to ink that up really well and stamp it again. And I got it right there. Look at that. We're going to have to cover that up. So let's grab our embossing powder. And we're just going to add our clear embossing powder. I can pick it up now, right, without making a mess. All right, and just heat it up to give it a shine. Yeah, the paper is pretty. When I did my class to go, I used the bold colors of that paper. I didn't even think of using the other ones. All right. So that is done. I did make one mistake though. And I'll show you what I did wrong. I forgot to color the little heart in the bottom. But that's okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to color in the center of these flowers. And then we're going to grab our green again. Same colors, Granny Apple. I'll fix this. And then we're just going to do these up here on the cup. It's a little easy. Oops, not the heart. It's actually easy when it's already embossed. And then just grab the Poppy Parade. And hit those hearts. And then I grabbed my cinnamon cider. I think it's cinnamon cider. And I just want to go over where the coffee is. So it looks like either coffee with a little milk or it looks like tea. All right, so let's let that dry for a few minutes. And we are going to grab another piece of basic white cardstock. And we're going to grab our spoon. And I'm going to, again, ink it up with Versamark. Now, there's probably some red on it. Yes, there is. That's all right. And we're going to stamp the spoon. Now, I'm not going to worry if I rock it. But this time, I'm going to pull out my silver. And we're going to just add some silver to this spoon. And I don't really care about what's hanging out because I am going to cut it. All right. So let's just quicken heat this up. Hi, Debbie. We were just talking about a lot of different things happening. All right. So there's our spoon. And like I said, I'm not really worried about what's hanging out on the outside of the spoon because we're just going to quick fussy cut this. I'm going to leave a little tiny bit of white around the outside. Not very much. And I know probably many of you do not like fussy cutting. I don't mind it. Of course, would I rather have dyes? Absolutely. But I don't mind fussy cutting. All right, so as I'm coming down this spoon now, I'm actually going to cut those hearts right off. So I'm left with just the spoon. Now this is the reason why my spoon had red on it. I'm going to grab my real red and I'm going to grab the spoon again. And I am just going to stamp because I want the hearts. I don't care about any other part of the spoon. And I'm just going to cut it out. I am going to extend it down into the spoon because I want to have something to adhere to underneath. So we're just going to do a quick fussy cut. Around the hearts. It's a little tiny, but okay. Not too bad. So now that we have our little hearts, I can just grab some glue. We're going to add glue right to the bottom. And then we can glue our spoon right onto the hearts. Okay. Then, this is the inside of the card. I don't have my die cut. Let me just quick, I'm going to use the banner from the Tilt-A-Whirl. So give me a second to cut this out. think it's called Give It a Whirl. Yes, the Give It a Whirl dies. That's where this banner is from. And we are going to grab I'm Here for You. And we're just going to stamp it in Gorgeous Grape so it stands out a little bit more. And we're going to hope we get it on here straight. Not bad. I don't know what's going on. Now we can pull our card back in. I'm going to just get this flat and we'll hide these little marks where I made a boo-boo. And we're just going to add some glue. And we're going to fit this on to this circle. Now, just to make sure it lays flat, I'm just going to cover it. And I got ink on it again with the stamp pad. It's so funny how little things just put you off your game, isn't it? It's so crazy. All right, so see what I did right there? I don't think I can get that off either. Let's see, we'll use the sand eraser. You might take it off. If not, we're going to use an embellishment. And that's exactly what I'll do. Let's pull in our embellishments. And you know why? It's because I rubbed the cinnamon cider. All right. So now for our spoon, I am going to add one dimensional to the spoon. I'm just going to get a different pair of scissors, and I'm just going to cut a thin piece off the end of my dimensionals. And just add it to the handle of that spoon. All right, pull our card back in, and we can put our spoon, I'm going to make it so it covers up that other mark, just like that. I want to add my sentiment, so I'm going to put a dimensional on the right-hand side and glue on the left-hand side so it's even with the circle. So we're just going to add a little glue. And we're going to put it right about there. And then we can tie a bow. Oh, it's warm in here again tonight. I did turn the air conditioners off because Bill has been getting really cold lately. And last night, he was already up. I guess it was like 12:30. And I had to turn a fan on. It was so warm. And that's how it is in here tonight. So let's cut these tails. Grab a glue dot. And we're just going to add this right here where that little hole is. And then let's add a few more sequins. We'll put one right over here. All right, now that the front of our layer is done, let's pull in our basic white and add some glue. And add it to the front of our card. Quick and easy. For the inside of this card, I did even easier. I have 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, 5 1/4 by 4. And what I'm going to do is grab my fresh freesia. Let's move that out of the way so we don't make a mess. I'm just going to add a bit of glue down one side. And I'm going to take my designer series paper, and I want to make sure that my flowers are upright. And we're just going to line this up right down that fresh freesia. I know it's extra big, but I'm going to cut it so it fits the sides perfectly. So we'll just grab our center. Make sure it's on there straight. And then pull in I'm going to pull in my little cutter. You can use a pair of scissors. And we're just going to trim it off. And trim it off so it's nice and flush. And then I'm going to get some seal because I don't want to have my glue show through. Okay. And then we can add some glue. Okay. If you're still, isn't it? Thanks, Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, the DSP is really pretty. All right, so there is card number 2. So for this one, I did use Highland Heather, and this one is in the Fresh Freesia. I like the Highland Heather better. Fran, your package is going out tomorrow. I went to the post office and I left your package behind. That's how bubble-brained I am lately. All right, so now the tissue box. Believe it or not, let's see. 1, 3 1/4, 3 1/4, 4 5 1/4. I did not cut out my sheet. I don't know what I was thinking. 1 1/4, 5 1/2, 6 3/4. Give me 1 second. 1 1/4, 3 1/2, 4 3/4, 6 3/4, 4 3/4. Send Bill a message, dude. 6 3/4, 4 3/4. Give me 1 second, ladies. I guess today is one of those days that I should thank goodness my head is attached. All right, so I have basic white for the bottom, 6 3/4 by 4 3/4, and then I have the top, and this is 4 3/8 by 6 3/8. I hope it works out right. And then I have my pieces for the top of the box. And then I also, there's my banner. And then I have the pieces for the sides of the box. Let's just move the embellishments, make some room. Let me just, here it is. All right. So for the bottom of the box, like I said, it is just a pack of tissues that you would put in your purse. I didn't even score anything, but for the bottom, we're going to score 1 1/4 on each side. It's just a very basic box. And when you make boxes, they're pretty easy. What you would do is we could take this. You would measure the side, and it's a half. And then you would measure the width. It's 3 1/2. So you have a half, and 3 1/2, which is 4 1/2. And then you would do it this way. A half and a half is 1. And this is 4 1/4. So you may want to just add a little bit on each side. So this will fit in perfectly and not so snug. And then when you make your top, you do the same directions depending on what kind of lid you want, but you add 1/8 of an inch. And that will give you the perfect lid. So now that we scored everything at 1 1/4 inches, we're just going to grab our scissors and we're going to create our tabs. So I'm cutting out that bump and I'm just going to miter it. And then we're going to do the same thing here. I'm cutting so that bump disappears and mitering it. Turn it this way and do the same thing on this side. Okay. So now that our tabs are created, I'm actually going to use the Seal Plus so I don't have to wait for the glue to dry. And I'm just going to put it at the top, right by my score line, and then at the bottom of each tab. And I have a little bit that's going over. So we're just going to tuck that. And we're just going to make sure the edge lines up with our corner. And we're going to create the bottom of our box. Flip that over. So I don't have to wait for anything to dry. And I forgot to trim. I've noticed that the paper trimmer is not straight lately. All right, now for the top of my box, I wanted the side to be about 1/4 of an inch smaller than the bottom of the box. So now we are going to score this at 1 inch. So when I measured, I just took that quarter off, but it's still going to be 1/8 of an inch larger than the box top. Now to get the opening in the top of the box, I did use this punch. And I'm just going to look here. It will not fit. And when I fold this over, I don't know if I will be able to. Maybe I will. Let's give it a shot. This is the top of the box. When I created it this afternoon, I actually used an X-Acto knife to cut this. But the way I did it was I took my sheet, and it's 2 1/4. And I just wanted to measure halfway. So that would be 1 1/8. And I just drew a line. And then this way, it's 4 1/4. So it would be 2 1/8. And let me just come down here, which would be right about here. So I know that right here is the center of this piece of paper. So I grabbed my punch, and eyeballing it, I wanted to get this mark in the center. And I just want to move it down a little bit. Then I wanted to make sure I had the same space. And we're just going to give that a punch. So there is the opening for our tissues. Then I grabbed my designer series paper, and I'm going to add my glue to the outer edge, and then I'm just going to come into the center a little bit, because once I cut this piece out, I don't want the designer series paper to be floppy in the center. So we're just going to add this, and then we're going to take our punch. We can see right through, and we can line this up, and then punch, and we have it punched out of the center. Now I just want to see if this is here. Just eyeballing it right now. Oh, I can do it. Okay. So now that it will fit, we're going to line this up and cut it out of the top of the box. So now we have the hole for our tissues in the top of the box. Now we can create our box. So we're going to fold just like we did with the bottom. And I think what I'll do is, before I do my tabs, I do have side pieces. Okay. And my side pieces that I created are 4 1/4. That should fit. Yep. By 7/8. And there's 2 of them. And then there's 2 that are 2 1/4 by 7/8. Let's just make sure they're going to fit. Yep. And then I have my designer series paper. Now we got to watch the design. If you want these little flowers to be upward, well, thank you, Rainbow. Yeah, Oh, you mean to cut the opening? I don't see why not. Here is the banner die right here. And it's just about the same size. It probably would be perfect. Good idea. Didn't even think of it, Fran. That punch is like my go-to punch, it seems, all the time. But yeah, it would be perfect. You know, it's funny, I have that Give It a Whirl, and I have not yet used that set. I think tonight is the first time I even used the banner die. I haven't pulled them out at all. I guess I'm going to have to create something with it. All right, so now we have our sides. It'll be easier to adhere these with it flat. We'll just have to give it a minute to dry. Oops. That's 3 and one more. All right. We'll put the top on after we create our lid. I'm still hoping that I measured correctly for for the bottom. I can't believe I forgot. I think what I did is I quick ran in here to get my stuff for the tissue box, you know, to fussy cut the paper and to fussy cut the image. And I think I grabbed the paper for the bottom of the box because I was trying to get dinner together, and then my sister was calling. It was just crazy. I even said to her, I was talking to her before, I guess it was about 6:30. I said, you're not going to be able to call me back until after 8 o'clock. And she called back anyway. She was so excited. All right, so here's our tabs. And again, you want to line those corners up. I'm just looking at this Seal Plus. I never noticed they were teeny tiny little rectangles. All right, so there's the top. Let's make sure it fits. Ah, yes, perfect. And I may have to, yep, I'm going to have to use my X-Acto knife. So we're going to glue this on. I didn't punch it straight. So if you find that you're off, you can see I'm off here. I'm just going to actually take my scissors and very carefully cut this out. I used the X-Acto knife this afternoon because before I even glued this down, I inserted it to the inside of the box and cut it out that way. All right, where is that X-Acto knife? Let's just grab it here. And we can straighten this out a little bit. But yeah, the die would probably work perfect, Fran. All right. I don't have another box of tissues, so this one's going to be empty. But I'm using the little gems in this same package of adhesive back sequins, and I am putting the smaller edge towards the corner, just like this. And then we have our sides done. Let's move some of this junk out of the way. And then we have our tissue box, a wishing you a speedy recovery card, and the I'm here for you card. Yeah, I love this punch, Fran. There's a few that I will probably always use. That's one of them. So here are tonight's projects. I did not ever, hey Sheila, I never did pick last week's winner for my Thursday night. So I have to pick last week, and I will pick this week, and I will post it tomorrow. I have to write myself a note so I don't forget. So again, I won't be here on Saturday. So I will catch up with you maybe on Sunday. I'll see how I feel. But I'll post a picture of that little puppy so you can see who we're getting. Got to think of her name. Something that will remind me of Reba. She was my girl. Thanks, Kathy. Thank you, Fran. Oh, very nice. I'm glad you're going to be making one for a friend. If you need I'll try to get the PDF out early if you didn't write down your dimensions. So thanks for joining me tonight, ladies. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening and have a great day tomorrow. I'm going shopping tomorrow after I get done with my work. So talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Yes, they are. Thanks, Sheila. Bye-bye.